Let's begin by talking about what prior authorization actually is and why it's sometimes required. In simple terms, prior authorization is a process your insurance company uses to determine whether they'll cover certain medications. This process usually applies to new or high-cost medications, and that's where Wegovy and Zepbound come in. For weight loss medications like these, insurance companies want to ensure that you meet specific criteria before they approve the prescription. Why? Because these medications can be expensive, and insurers want to make sure they're only being used when they're medically necessary. Now, not every patient will need prior authorization, but many will, especially if your body mass index doesn't automatically qualify you or if there are other factors like related health conditions involved. Generally, prior authorization is more likely to be required if your BMI is under a certain threshold or if the medication is brand new to the market. It's a way for insurance companies to make sure that the treatment fits within their coverage guidelines. Section 2. Steps for getting insurance approval for weight loss medications. So, how do you go about getting insurance approval for weight loss medications like Wegovy or Zepbound? Let's break it down step by step. Step 1. Initial consultation and documentation. The first step is to have an initial consultation with your healthcare provider. This could be an in-person visit or, increasingly, a virtual consultation through telehealth. During this visit, your provider will take a detailed medical history, review your weight loss goals, and may request lab work. These lab results are often crucial for proving that the medication is medically necessary. The provider will also evaluate if you meet certain BMI thresholds or if you have any comorbid conditions like diabetes or hypertension, which can strengthen your case for approval. Step 2. Submitting required documents. Once your provider has all the necessary information, medical history, lab results, and any supporting documents, they will submit a prior authorization request to your insurance company. This request includes all the documentation that proves the medical necessity of the weight loss medication. That's why it's so important to have recent lab work and a clear medical history on file. Step 3. Follow up with your provider. Sometimes, the insurance company will request more information or clarification before approving the medication. At this point, it's essential to stay in close contact with your provider. If there are any delays or additional requests, telehealth can make this process a lot faster, allowing you to communicate and provide additional documentation without needing to go in for another appointment. Section 3. How patients can help speed up the process. Now, here's where you, as a patient, can really speed up the process and make things easier on your provider. One of the most effective steps you can take is to contact your insurance company directly. Look for the number on the back of your insurance card and call to ask if medications like Wegovy or Zepbound are covered under your plan. This step can save you a lot of time. Why? Because if you know ahead of time what's covered, you can let your provider know before they even submit the prior authorization request. This allows them to prescribe the medication that's most likely to be approved, cutting down on back and forth and avoiding unnecessary delays. Once you have this information, share it with your provider right away. This ensures they're working with the best possible information to get your prescription approved. By being proactive, you're helping to smooth out the whole process. Section 4. Documentation and lab results. What you need. Now let's talk about what kind of documentation and lab results might be required to get your medication approved. Insurance companies often need to see proof that you meet their criteria for approval. Here's what that typically includes. BMI information. Most insurance companies have a BMI threshold, usually around 30 or higher. If your BMI is below this threshold, they may require additional proof of comorbidities, health conditions that are related to your weight, like diabetes, high blood pressure, or sleep apnea. Lab results. You may also need to submit recent lab work. This could include blood tests to check for things like blood sugar levels or cholesterol. These results help confirm that the medication is medically necessary. If you haven't had lab work done recently, your provider can order it for you, or you can access past results through online portals like LabCorp or Quest Diagnostics. Having this documentation ready to go will make the process much quicker. Section 5. Virtual consultations can streamline the process. Now let's look at how virtual consultations can help speed up the whole process. With telehealth, you can meet with your provider from the comfort of your home, which means there's no need to wait weeks for an in-person appointment. This is a huge advantage when you're trying to get insurance approval quickly. Virtual consultations also make it easier to handle any follow-up requests. For example, if the insurance company asks for more information or documentation, your provider can respond to those requests in real time through telehealth, reducing delays. In addition, many patients find it easier to stay in touch with their provider through virtual platforms. This is important because quick communication between you and your provider is key to getting prior authorization requests handled efficiently. Section 6. Overcoming common insurance hurdles. Even with all this preparation, it's not uncommon to face hurdles with insurance companies. But the good news is that these hurdles can often be overcome. Let me share a few real-life examples to show how persistence and the right documentation can make a big difference. Example 1. BMI just below the threshold. One patient had a BMI just under the threshold required for coverage of Wegovy. The insurance company initially denied the request. However, after submitting additional documentation that showed comorbidities, including high blood pressure and insulin resistance, the medication was approved. The takeaway here? Don't be discouraged by an initial denial. Often, resubmitting with more information can lead to success. Example 2. Delays due to lab results. Another patient had their request delayed because the insurance company wanted more recent lab results. Thanks to telehealth, their provider was able to quickly order the labs, which were then processed and submitted in a matter of days. By using virtual consultations, the entire process was much faster than it would have been with traditional in-person appointments. The lesson here is that persistence pays off. Don't give up if you face a hurdle. It's often just a matter of providing more information or resubmitting documentation. Section 7. Final tips for getting weight loss medications covered. Before we wrap up, let's quickly go over some final tips that can help make sure your weight loss medication is covered. 1, 2, 3, 4. Contact your insurance company early. Before your provider submits anything, call your insurance and ask if Wegovy or Zepbound is covered. This information will help guide the process. Make sure your documentation is thorough. Have all of your lab results and BMI information ready to go. The more complete your file is, the better your chances of quick approval. Appeal if necessary. If your request is denied, don't hesitate to appeal. Many patients succeed on their second or third attempt, especially if more detailed documentation is provided. Stay in close communication. Keep in regular contact with your provider and respond quickly to any requests for additional information. This will speed up the approval process. By following these steps, you'll be well on your way to getting your medication approved. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has provided valuable insight into how to navigate the insurance prior authorization process for weight loss medications. Whether you're a patient or a healthcare provider, these tips can help make the process smoother and faster. If you found this information helpful, feel free to share, share, and subscribe. And as always, stay tuned for more tips on navigating healthcare and weight loss treatments. Thanks again, and see you next time.